Hello, happy Sunday, happy Super Bowl weekend. I'm not sure anybody's going to be joining the live today because there's a Super Bowl going on in America. We're going to do a live anyway. My name is Tim. Welcome in. I'm going to verify if the live stream's working. It's working. How nice is that? So, happy Sunday in the Villages, Florida. My name is Tim. It's a beautiful, glorious day to be in the Villages. How's everybody doing? Or is everybody watching the Super Bowl today? What is on the map? Let's take a tour of the map. The villages.com website. Lots of homes on the market. Lots and lots of homes. And check these out. All these courtyard villas are not selling. Look at this. They only sold a couple of these courtyard villas. Just keep in mind, friends, what's the number one rule in real estate? Location. What's the number two rule in real estate? Location. What's the number three rule? Location. I think it's location that's driving this. I am actually surprised that most of these patio villas sold out, though. There's only one left. Or did they take them off the market? I was watching these patio villas, and there were quite a few homes for sale. And then the next day, I look at the map, and there's one home for sale. So were they behind on updating the map, or did they just take them off the market? I would like to know what your thoughts are. Yes. Short answer, Steve, is yes. I live in the Villages. I own a home in the Villages. I lived in the Villages for 3 years, and I spend part of my time in the Far East and part of my time in the Villages. Do you live in the Villages, Steve? Yes, I do. Thank you for your question. I appreciate that. If you have any questions about the Villages, let me know. But I'm just surprised of these patio villas. Did they take them off the market, or did they actually sell them all? Because one day there was a lot of homes for sale. The next day there were none. So it could be they updated the map. Not sure. Surprised. I'm very surprised that these cottage homes are not selling, or there's still a lot of them for sale. These cottage homes selling slow, in my opinion, selling slow. And that was the theme of one of my videos. Are the sales slow or not? Do I live in the Villages? Answer is yes, I do. But it's not full time. I guess that's the final answer. I live there, but not full time. But I did live there full time for 3 years. I appreciate your question. Still surprised that these veranda homes, Ocala Verandas North, you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 homes still for sale. When veranda homes and patio and cottage homes, when they don't sell fast, that's a pretty good barometer of home sales. That's why, as well as courtyard villas. So when I really look at a veranda home neighborhood as a good barometer, our sales slow. Just look at veranda homes. I think they're probably some of the most popular series of home. Those, as well as I think cottage homes, because they're more affordable. People tend to buy those. Courtyard villas used to be really, really popular. I think they're becoming less popular as the popularity of a veranda home increases. I think the popularity of the courtyard villa decreases. Let me know if you feel the same way. But that's the way it seems to me. Uh, so I think the most popular series home is the veranda home. And somebody did tell me on a comment that you cannot pick out the colors of your veranda home. That surprised me. Even though you get in early on the design process, apparently the Villages builds a veranda home, they put their own colors in, and that is it. You have no choice. That surprises me. I'm trying to figure out why they would do that on a veranda home. And keep in mind, veranda homes are about the size and square footage of a designer home. They're on a little bit smaller lot of land, and they have privacy fences around them. I'm trying to figure out the logic why the Villages would not let you choose your countertop color, etc., in a veranda home, but they will on a designer home. Is it there's just not enough profit in these veranda homes? Are they trying to control their inventory of countertops and composite plank flooring? What would be the reason they wouldn't let you pick the colors? Just let me know in the comments if you have any ideas why. And who is rooting? What team are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? Let's see what the Super Bowl score is. Three nothing Seattle. Right there. We will keep an eye on the Super Bowl. Seattle is leading 3-0 over the New England Patriots. There you go. Just in case you're interested in watching the Super Bowl, I'll keep you abreast of the score. How's that? 3-0 Seattle. So let's take a tour. Oh, yeah, there it is. Steve Bitchler, do you live in the Villages? So these veranda homes kind of sold. In Edenfield, there's only 4 of these left. But these courtyard villas are not selling. Little surprised at these courtyard villas. And then you have more veranda homes. These veranda homes even sold. So you can see the veranda homes are selling more so than courtyard villas. So I have a question. One day, are we going to see the disappearance of the courtyard villa? Are they going to continue to sell courtyard villas? Because it seems like, to me, and leave your comments below, are the buyers of the courtyard villas, are they now shifting to the veranda home? I think the answer is yes. I think that veranda homes and courtyard villas are almost a redundancy. And I think someday in the Villages, you're going to see courtyard villas disappear. What do you think? In the comments below, what do you think? Are courtyard villas going to disappear one day because they're being replaced by veranda homes? If you look at the map, it almost appears that way. This is a very new veranda home neighborhood, the most recent opened. It opened shortly after this courtyard villa neighborhood. And you can see most of these verandas sold. You can see very few of these courtyards sold. So what is selling on the courtyards? Avondale, Bristol, Raleigh. That's a small square foot, 1,500 square feet. Avondale, Raleigh, small square foot. Raleigh, Raleigh, Tranquility. That is a garden home. 1,944 square feet. Oasis, Tranquility, a Serenity. Well, there's a Tranquility. Oasis, Tranquility. So most of the homes that sold in this Courtyard Villa neighborhood are larger square footage homes, comparably in size to a veranda home. So the homes that sold in the Alex Courtyard Villas are mostly larger square foot. Here's an Avondale, 1,700 square feet, 2-car garage with a golf car. You have, here's a small 1,500 square foot Raleigh. I would have expected more of the smaller homes to sell. But villagers want larger homes. They want 1,900 square foot homes. That's pretty much what the villagers want. And that's pretty much what all of these veranda homes are. You can find them 2,200 square feet. So I'm just wondering, all of these Courtyard Villas did sell out though. So I'm just wondering, why have Courtyard Villas and veranda homes? They kind of serve the same population of people, especially those people that want that 1,900 square foot home. But in the Courtyard Villa neighborhoods, you have a lot of homes, a lot of smaller homes for sale. Here's a Charlotte, 1,500 square foot. Here's a Durham, 1,300 square foot. Here's a Bristol, that's larger. So why build Courtyard Villa neighborhoods if the buyers are now shifting to the veranda homes? I often wondered that even a year ago when they started with the veranda home series. I said, what does that mean for Courtyard Villas? Courtyard Villas still seem to sell, but this neighborhood definitely is not selling of Courtyard Villas. Is it due to location? Is it due to more people are shifting their desires to a veranda home? You let me know. Look who's here, Sam Propane. I thought you'd be watching the football game. Lower the prices? Well, that essentially would mean smaller square foot homes, Raleighs and Charlottes. But even those are not selling in this new neighborhood. They're not selling. Most of the homes that sold in this Courtyard Villa neighborhood are the larger square footage, the Bristols. 1,900 square feet. So why even build a Courtyard Villa neighborhood? Just build veranda homes because they're all in that 1,900 square foot. Based on this analysis, this statistics, there's, I think, only one 1,500 square foot home that's sold in here. Most of them are, here's a Raleigh that's sold. That's a smaller one. That's a smaller one. Tranquility, that's a larger home. I think that's a larger square foot. Yeah, that is, it's not telling me the square footage. Is it? Or am I blind? But it is a larger square footage home. So there's only, of the homes that sold here, there's only 2 smaller square footage homes. All of them are large. All of those larger square footage homes could easily be replaced with a veranda home. So the people that are buying the 1,500 square foot Courtyard Villas would now shift and buy cottage villas because they're in that 1,500 square foot range. Like this one. But these are not concrete walls. Or They're going to shift and they're going to buy that small designer home. They're going to buy the Tall Pine C. So those people buying the Raleigh Courtyard Villas are now going to shift and buy the Tall Pine C, but they're not going to have the wall. The Courtyard Villa people are a special and unique breed of people. They want their walls because most of those people want the walls for pets. When you buy into a Courtyard Villa neighborhood, you can be reasonably assured that 90% of these people are going to have a pet or two. That's why they're buying Courtyard Villas, because they have pets. And that's one of the reasons I chose not to buy into a Courtyard Villa neighborhood, and I bought into a patio villa neighborhood. Because I'm not a pet person, and I didn't want to live around neighbors where every neighbor had a pet. So I bought into a patio villa neighborhood. It turns out that a lot of patio villa people have pets. It turns out that a lot of designer home people have pets. But when you have a neighborhood with walls, like Courtyard Villas, you can be reasonably assured that 90, 95, 99% of these people are going to have pets. Anytime I did a pre-owned home tour video, when I used to do open house videos, anytime I did one in a Courtyard Villa neighborhood, I always heard a dog bark. Almost guaranteed, almost every time. Anytime I would drive into this Courtyard Villa neighborhood to do the video, I'd set up my camera, I'd park on the street, I'd get my camera ready, I'd get out of the car, I'd slam the car door closed, bark, 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 almost every time in a Courtyard Villa neighborhood. The dog would bark for 5 minutes and then it would quiet down. So I learned when I started doing those videos, when I drove into these neighborhoods, I would softly close my door, not to disrupt the pets, because I didn't want the pets barking on my video. And if you watch some of my Courtyard Villa videos, you will hear in many of those videos, you will hear a dog bark. I tried making those videos where the dogs weren't barking. In fact, I would even wait 10 minutes for the dog to settle down. And in a lot of cases, the dog never settled down, but in some cases they did. So the people that are buying into Courtyard Villa neighborhoods are very unique people. They love their pets. They want their walls. So if you get rid of a Courtyard Villa neighborhood, the people buying the larger square footage homes, they're just going to buy a veranda in the home. I think that's easy peasy. That's just makes sense. But the people buying the smaller Courtyard Villas, the Raleighs, what are they going to do? I think the villages should start making more cottage home neighborhoods, cottage villa neighborhoods with concrete walls. And I think they should just get rid of the Courtyard Villa series and you replace it with a cottage villa series, and those cottage villas, some of those you could have made with concrete walls. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Not really watching. Hello, Craig the Sailor and Nicole. Just so you know, I'm going to keep everybody abreast of the Super Bowl score. Seattle is leading 6-0 in the, looks like halftime. Looks like it's halftime. Seattle's leading. Just to keep everybody abreast. Looks like it's a good game, though. Lower all the prices on Courtyard Villas. They are getting high versus verandas. Well, maybe that's another reason Sam Propane to get rid of the Courtyard Villas. The price per square foot's too high. You can build more verandas at a lower price per square foot than you can a smaller quantity of verandas and a smaller quantity of courtyards. And that's the whole thing in manufacturing anything, limiting your inventory, limiting the number of options to a smaller number of options. So you buy higher quantities, you get more efficient at building it, it lowers the price. That's one of the reasons I think the villages should consider not offering courtyard series, because they could replace those by building more verandas, thus lowering the cost. They could replace it by building more cottage homes, cottage villas. They need more 2-car plus golf cart in the courtyards. That's why the Bristol and Avondale sell. I agree. I totally agree. When you're spending $500,000 on a new home, you want a golf car garage and a 2-car garage. And your 2-car garage, you want deeper than 20 feet. Because if you put a car in a 20-foot deep garage, you can barely walk behind it. The car is pushed up against the garage wall. If you close the garage door, you'd have a hard time walking behind your car. So you want a deeper garage, deeper than 20 feet deep. That's in my opinion. Courtyards are fine. Keep them. I'm looking at it from a builder perspective. Why build them? Why build them? Why build a courtyard when they can just buy a veranda? Let's specialize. Let's minimize the choices for the people and become more efficient and more profitable by offering the verandas. I was actually surprised when the villages came up with the veranda home concept, because they essentially had those kind of homes in the courtyard villa in the larger model, like the Bristols. That's what a Bristol is. Essentially, it's a veranda home with the same size, square footage, same features. But the only thing that the courtyards offer that the verandas don't is the smaller home, 1,500 square foot. But you offer those in cottage villas. Now you have a cottage villa, 1,500 square foot cottage villa. People are buying those up. People love the cottage villa because of the large yard. I'm actually surprised that they still offer cottage homes. I wouldn't be surprised one day that they say we don't sell cottage homes anymore, because I don't think they're profitable from a builder point of view to have a small, low cost, affordable home on a large piece of land. They could take that large piece of land and they could put a large home on it and they could make a lot more money. That's the point. So purely from a builder perspective, these cottage homes are not as profitable as putting a designer home on it. They could have easily taken this neighborhood and they could have made a veranda home neighborhood out of it. And they could have made a lot more money. Look at this. Patio villas not selling. Now about half of them are sold. 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 sold, 17 sold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 did not sell. 19 homes on the market, 17 homes sold. I don't know. You tell me. Very interesting. Courtyards are fine. Keep them. I actually like courtyards too, but the question is, are they redundant? Are they redundant to the veranda home? Are they redundant to the cottage villa? I think that's the question. And anytime you have redundancy in businesses like to eliminate redundancies. That's what they like to do. So I wouldn't be surprised one day that you won't see courtyard villas. Especially if this pattern keeps holding up where they're just not selling. They obviously are not selling due to location. Look at that. You can throw a stone to the turnpike. I can't believe people are buying homes up here. All of these verandas are selling though. And that's my point. The verandas are selling and the courtyards are not. Well, the larger courtyards kind of are. But they have a lot of smaller homes in here. They have a lot of Charlottes and Raleighs. Interesting. So interesting. And then the other thing that was shocking on the map is district number 16. Check out district number 16, bonds. Is anybody shocked at a $61,000 bond? Raise your hand if you're shocked at a $61,000 bond in district 16. Raise your hand. I'd like to know. When I saw this bond schedule, my jaw dropped to my desk. 61,000. District 16, my God. Unit 294. So if you go to this map, here's the William Vans map. And thank you, William Vans, for publishing this map. This is awesome. Cheers to you, friend. So unit 294 is this green patch here, right there. Maybe I need to do this. Can I do this? Can I do this? So now you can see my cursor. So unit 294 is this long green patch, has a little, maybe, I don't know, a bridge, and then the green patch is over here. This is the village of Long Prairie. This is going to be a unique neighborhood. Something tells me this is going to have water in between, lots of water view sites. You have a little car bridge going to this section. You're going to have, it's like a moat. Something tells me that this neighborhood, unit 294, with this bond, 61,000, is going to be very, very unique. So this neighborhood has a $61,000 bond. And then if you go to the village's bonds, you have unit 293 right here. There's unit 293. That's a $61,000, almost $62,000. We're approaching $62,000 bonds, friends. So unit 293, now you go to Vans Maps. Unit 293 is this one right here, right there. This white area, is this all water? Is that what this white area is? Water? Or is it just not filled in the map yet? Is this nature preserve? Is it water? Is it retention ponds? What is this? And I've been telling you, everyone, part of the reasons these bonds are high is because there is a lot more water, retention ponds. There's a lot more wetlands in the southern part of the villages. You put fewer homes on a larger area with more wetlands. It costs money, a lot of money, to maintain those waterways and wetlands. And you're going to start seeing high maintenance assessment costs as well. It started in District 14. If you look at District 14, maintenance assessment, that's the fee you pay at the end of the year on the tax bill for common area maintenance. And part of that, a lot of that maintenance fee goes to maintaining retention ponds and wetlands and waterways. Big chunk of the maintenance is for that. And in the southern part, starting in District 14, 15, now 16, a lot more water than up in the north between the sixes. Maintenance assessment fees between the sixes are really low and reasonable. They started going up really high in District 14 because there are fewer homes on larger chunks of land, because there's way more waterways, wetlands, retention ponds in the south. The bond isn't so much tied to the wetlands as it is to the cost to develop, but maybe there's a higher cost to develop because they have to do more excavation. They have to essentially make those wetlands look pretty, and during excavation development work, they have to do more digging around the wetland areas. Maybe that's another reason why the bonds are going up, just in addition to the cost. Everybody was afraid for District 15 bonds because District 15 really was the first district they started developing around or right after COVID. And if you remember COVID, it had 9% inflation rates. The districts prior to District 15 were essentially developed before COVID. District 15 was developed during and after COVID. Everybody thought that the bonds in District 15 were going to be exorbitant. They were higher, but not exorbitantly higher. That's where you started seeing your $55,000, $58,000 bonds was District 15. And that was primarily due to 9% inflation for COVID. I didn't think I'd see much of a jump in bonds in District 15. I didn't think I'd see a almost $62,000 bond in District 16 because we don't have 9% inflation anymore. What is inflation? Is it like 4 or 5% now? But if you noticed, not all of these bonds are that high. So if you look at Unit 275 in District 16, there's a $53,000 bond. So the price of the bond really depends on the size of the unit. Keep in mind there are many different units within a district. A unit is essentially developed based on, I think, the topography of the area, the wetlands, the marshes. They kind of look at it and they say, oh, we can put a community of homes here, we can put a community of homes over there, based on where the wetlands are, based on they test the soil, they drill down, they find where the good places to build are, where it's stable, where it's not stable, and then they plan their neighborhoods. These neighborhoods essentially are unit numbers. And if you get a few homes in a unit, they have to spread those development costs over fewer homes. So something tells me Unit 293 will have fewer homes than unit number 275. And I think you're going to see this more and more in the southern part of the villages, districts 15, 16, 17, as they move forward. You're going to see these bonds fluctuate because there are more wetlands, there are more retention ponds, there are less stable areas, fewer areas they can put homes on based on their testing analysis. more so than in the northern part, between the sixes, for instance. In addition to the fluctuation in bonds, you're going to see maintenance assessment costs go up. Costs a lot more money to maintain more wetlands, more retention ponds. And it boils down to they test the soil for stability and for drainage, etc. And then they determine how to lay out these neighborhoods. And how they lay the neighborhoods out depends on how will relate to how many homes they can put on it. That will filter into the equation for the bond amounts, the maintenance assessment fee amounts. It's kind of interesting how they develop these neighborhoods. Yeah, you're not shocked they're up to almost $62,000. I was shocked to see the fluctuation. You have one neighborhood with 53,000, the next neighborhood with almost 62,000. And I'm trying to figure out and explain why the variation. And I think it's due to the amount of wetlands, retention ponds, the smaller acreage of buildable areas in the south. I think that's what it's due to. Yeah, Golf Course Preserve, water. 2.3%. That was inflation. Wow, that was really low. But District 15 was one of the first district they built around and after COVID, and everybody was afraid that the bonds were going to shoot through the roof, and the maintenance assessment fees. The fees are much higher in the south, District 14, 15. Maintenance assessment fees much higher than between the sixes. But I was surprised to see a $62,000 bond. I was expecting to see the 55, 58, 59, maybe 60. But I think it really boils down to how much buildable area, how much buildable acreage they have in the south. And they have less buildable acreage in the south than they had between the sixes because of the aforementioned reasons: wetlands, nature preserves, whatever they tested the soil. Soil dictates you can build over there, but not over there. They're getting fewer acreage per district than they did in the north, which is good from a perspective. You're going to have fewer homes. You might feel like you have more elbow room in the south because you're going to have more wetlands, more retention ponds. But with that comes more issues. Wetlands, retention ponds, they create problems. And you saw a problem already in Well Point over by the Street of Dreams. You had retention ponds magically drain overnight. It takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to keep this stuff going. You know, underground pipes tend to break. If you have more retention ponds and wetlands, they have to put more underground pipes to maintain it. They tend to break. You're going to probably have more issues in the south, more issues per household type of thing than you do in the between the sixes. It's part of the reason I'm holding off of buying in the south. I want to wait for 5 years and see how things go down there. It's a lot different in the south than it is between the sixes. Everything is different. The way they designed the neighborhoods, it's all different. They went to the Florida prairie look in the south, fewer flowers, more retention ponds, more wetlands. It's just due to topography. It's stability of the land and the earth underneath just dictates how and where they build these homes. That's one of the biggest reasons I'm waiting for a few years to see how the southern part of the villages shakes out, because it's entirely different than between the sixes, and that's what I'm used to. I'm used to the old villages between the sixes. And when I drive to the south, it does not look like the villages to me. It looks like entirely different. And for somebody like me, an old timer like me that likes the look and feel of between the sixes, I go to the south, it's like, wow, this is entirely different. It makes me skeptical, not sure, makes me hesitant. And we'll see. We're going to see. And I'm going to give it 5 years and see what happens. See if everybody's still happy and go lucky about it or what. But it's a lot different in the South. It might be different for a good reason, and it might be different and it's good. It's a good reason it's different, or it might be bad. 5 years is going to tell me. I don't know yet. I really don't know. Yes. Yeah, we'll go over that age map, Sam. I know there's a lot of people hung up with that. I am not hung up with age. I live between the sixes, and frankly, I don't care about the age. I don't care if I'm sitting at the bar at Lake Sumter Landing next to somebody who's 70 years old or 55 years old. I really don't care. I don't. But I know a lot of people do. Oh, hi, Craig. How are you? That's correct. They're not included. That's correct, Craig. It comes down to number of lots versus acreage. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Well said. Although I didn't know how to say it. But as a general rule, when you take a big chunk of land and call it District 16, and there's a high percentage of that district that's dedicated to wetlands and golf courses and stuff like that, that means you can put fewer homes in that district. And those fewer homes now will bear a higher percentage of the cost to maintain that district. Yes, it's modern, and yes, that is correct. And if you value the modern and the younger, then definitely the South is for you, for sure. And there's a lot of people that value that. Absolutely. Lots. So let's take a look at that Van's age map right here. Van's age map. Let's kind of blow it up. Let's go that. So we have a legend here. So in the blue, so this is County Road 466 running east and west. And the blue districts have an average age of 70 years old. And the red districts have an average age of 75 years old. And then this is south of 466. And you have 75-year-olds living in the red districts, 70-year-olds living in the blue districts. Lake Sumter Landing is where? Right in, where's Lake Sumter? Must be this area here. So as you head south, you have Green. Green is 65 years old. So here you have the Green section. This is like St. Catherine area, this Green, and this is, I'm not sure, this is Fenny, the Fenny area. What I found unique is that you've got the purple area, which is 60-year-olds. You've got 60-year-olds living primarily in the Eastport area. And then you have them up here too. What is this? This is like St. John. Is that what that is? St. John area, maybe? I don't know. But here, you can, this is the proof. The younger people are living in the South. for sure. And this is Lake Denham over here, I think. I was surprised to see 75-year-olds up here. I guess I'm not. I do see a lot of older people when I'm sitting at Lake Sumter Landing. There's a lot of older people there. But what I've noticed in the last couple of years living up here is that as the older people age out, there are a fair amount of younger people buying in here. There's a lot of younger people buying here. And when I go to Lake Sumter Landing and sit at the bar and have a drink, there's a lot of younger people. When I say younger, I'm thinking 65-ish years old, 60, 65-ish. So these people are aging out. And when they age out, their family is selling the home, and there's a lot of younger people buying these homes. I'm surprised. It's not older people buying these homes. It's younger people buying these homes. So there's a fair mixture. This map, I think, distorts reality. You know, this might be the average age, but there is a fair amount of younger people. Like when I go to the gym, right over here at Laurel Manor. It's right here in this white patch. Most of the people in the gym, I'd say about half the people in the gym are my age, 60-ish. And those people recently bought a home from an estate sale. Those people that are looking for affordable homes in the South. And I talk to a lot of people. I should actually do a video about this one day. Share. I forgot to share this tab. Sorry. My bad. I forgot to share the tab. So this is the William Vans map that shows the ages. And you have the blue section with the 70-year-olds, the red section, the 75. And then you have the green section. This is like St. Catherine. Green section is 65. And then the south, the purple area, say this is Eastport. This is all, what's the age down here? You have 60-year-olds down here. And then in the north, and this is Lake Sumter, right in here is Lake Sumter. So the people that are looking for affordable homes, and there's a lot of them. Anytime I do a video, sorry, this is just jacked up. You can only build in the south where the village is. Yeah, that's right. You can only build in the south. But to that point, there's a lot of people that want an affordable home and they don't want to live in the South for whatever reason. They either looked in the South, they don't like it, or they just don't want a new home, whatever. But there's a lot of people who are looking for those value homes. They're buying a lot of pre-owned homes in the North between the sixes. There's a lot of pre-owned homes being sold north of 466, which I'm surprised about. I don't know if I would want to live north of 466. There's just not enough amenities north of 466. There's a lot more amenities between the sixes. There's a lot more golf courses, swimming pools. You're closer to the town squares between the sixes. North of 466, not a lot of amenities. There's a lot more trees. The yards are larger. I just don't think I could live north of 466. Those people are buying up there to buy trees and lower priced homes, but then they have to remodel the inside. That's right, Sam. There's a lot of people that are buying those low priced homes. Lots. A lot of younger people the people that are looking at a patio villa or a cottage home in the South, they're also looking in the North at a pre-owned home. And if they can buy a pre-owned home that's been recently remodeled, and there's a fair amount of those, they're going to buy them. They buy them. A lot of people are flipping homes in the North. They'll buy a home, they'll gut it out, and they'll resell it, they'll remodel it, and buy them. But there's a lot of homes, and you saw those pre-owned home tours I did. There's a lot of them in the north that need a lot of help. So the people that are buying affordable homes are looking at patio villas, cottage homes in the south. They're also looking at designer homes in the north at roughly the same price. And they're making a decision. They're looking in both places. They're looking in the south and the north. And I have run across a lot of people that are buying homes in the north. A lot of times they want the home to be upgraded, ready, and flipped. They do. They don't want to buy a home and then remodel it themselves. They want to have somebody else do it. It is interesting to watch, though. Everybody has their own take. Surely, Sam cruises all over the areas all the time. He is the one to ask. Both he and Craig are very well informed. Yeah, those are, you can. There are different villages in the south to build in. Right now, Long Prairie would likely be where I would want to be if I were looking. Yes, I agree. If I want a villa, I would buy in Long Prairie, Merrittfield, Farmstead. If you want a non-view lot, pick up something on sale in LaGrange, Oak Hollow, infill LaGrange. Surely, time frame to build? I missed a question. Shirley, what area would you say is best to build in? What area would I say is best to build in? It depends on your time frame. If you can wait 6 months to a year, I would say Long Prairie, which is right down in this area where the yellow cursor is. If you want to build in the next month or two, where would I build? You want to build. I probably be looking right here in LaGrange. I don't know if you can build here in LaGrange or if these are all spec houses. Apparently, I think they're all spec houses. But if you want to buy a lot and build, short term, short answer, I would look probably here. Longer term, I would look probably in Long Prairie, right down in here. And we can look at the Vans map and show you that a little bit better. So Shirley is asking, where do I build? So this is Long Prairie right here. And the village's actually the Community Development District recently released bond schedules on some of these neighborhoods in Long Prairie. That means they're going to be the first neighborhoods that you can either build in or buy a home in. And one of the neighborhoods bonds they released was this blue area right here. This is going to be designer homes, I think, based on the bond. It's going to be unit number 275. I think this would be a good area. They also released a bond schedule here in this neighborhood right there. That's unit 294. That's going to be a unique neighborhood because to me it looks like it has a little road in between and then it extends on this side. They might have water here. So you might want to go down there and drive around and see. They released bond information on this area. I think this is going to be a Courtyard Villa neighborhood, I think, in this blue patch. They released bond information on unit 269, which is right here. They released bond information on unit 293, which is right there. So keep in mind, as I zoom out, keep in mind where the turnpike is. This is the turnpike. And over here is Long Prairie. So my advice is to stay as far west in Long Prairie as you can. As you start heading more closer east, you're getting closer to the turnpike, so keep that in mind. Also, as you head further north, you're getting closer to the turnpike. So my advice is to stay in Long Prairie, right in here. if I'm buying or building a home, I think I'm looking at these neighborhoods right in here. Let me know what you think. Because this is the town square right here, this white patch. These maps are kind of wonky as hell. So this is the town square, Eastport. You're still close enough to Eastport. I'm going to call this the heart of Long Prairie right here. I like this area. The more I look at the map, the more I like it right there. These homes down here, you're getting a little bit further away from the town square. You're getting a little closer to the turnpike. I like this area right here. And you have designer homes in this area. If I'm buying or building, and if I can wait, I don't know, 6 months, 12 months, one of my subscribers thinks 6 months, this is going to be opened up. It could be. This is Long Prairie right there. And then if you look at the map, if you want to buy a lot like tomorrow and start building, I would be looking right here in LaGrange, which is north of Eastport. It might be a little bit too close to Eastport. I don't know. You have to make that decision by yourself. But I think right here, right now, this is the best area in Long Prairie. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. That's true. You can only build in the south. Those people are buying up there to buy trees and lower a home, but then they have to remodel out. Like, that's true, Sam. Surely Sam cruises all over. Yes, there are different villages in the south. If I want a view lot, I'd buy in Long Prairie. Yeah, Long Prairie is going to have a lot of water, a lot of view sites. Long Prairie, Merrittfield, and Farmstead. Let's see where Merrittfield and Farmstead is. Here's Merrittfield right there. So I suggested this neighborhood in Long Prairie, and then you have Merrittfield up in here. You know, if this is Merrittfield, again, I would stay west if I could, and that would be a pretty good neighborhood in Merrittfield. Farmstead is right here. This is Farmstead. Again, in Farmstead, you might want to stay west. But then you have this road. This is going to be 470. So keep in mind, 470 is going to be busy. I think this is actually 470 up here. So you have a lot of choices. This still ain't bad in LaGrange. LaGrange is not bad. So let's share this tab. If you're building a designer home, I still think, and the reason I like this area is because you have $1 million a row. All these lots on Central Lake are going to be premier homes, $1 million plus homes. They are going to put upward pressure on your designer home values. These are going to be designer homes in the middle. I think these homes are going to really hold their value because of the town square. They actually might be too close to the town square, but most villagers don't care. They just want to live near a town square. And for resale value, I still think these homes are going to have some of the best resale that you're going to ever see in the villages. I don't think you're going to be unhappy buying or building in this area in LaGrange. I still think that this is going to be one of the best areas you're going to be able to own a designer home in, just because villagers want to live next to that town square. If you want to buy a pre-owned designer home, or not a pre-owned, but if you want to buy a new home that's already built designer home, I'd be probably looking right here. Some of these homes in LaGrange. Here's a Mockingbird C. I don't know if you like Mockingbird C's, but this is already a pre-owned home or a pre-built home. If I'm looking at a pre-built designer home, I'm probably staying here in LaGrange. I'd probably wait for maybe some of these homes to open up in here. But keep in mind, I think LaGrange is going to be a pass-through for people in Enfield. They're going to come driving their cars and golf carts down through LaGrange to get to the town square. So LaGrange, at least this area of LaGrange, makes me a little nervous. I still think this is a great area for designer homes right here in Oak Hollow. I think like this one right here, if you're looking for a Sycamore C with a 2-car garage and a golf car garage, I think this is an awesome home right here in Oak Hollow. Nice and close to the town square right there, far enough away from the town square you're probably not going to hear the noise, close enough to the Blanchard Rec, close enough to Woodlands Golf Club. You have a shortcut up to Magnolia Plaza when you're living in there. Here's Magnolia Plaza and your Publix. If you're looking at an existing new home, Sycamore C right there. If you're looking to build a home, I'm thinking near term here, long term, Long Prairie. I actually think that these homes in LaGrange are going to hold their value better than Long Prairie, although I think the quality of life in Long Prairie is going to be better, and Long Prairie is going to be a better place to live. I think these homes are going to hold their value better than Long Prairie because everybody wants to live next to that town square, and they don't care how close to the town square you are. In addition to the $1 million premier homes on the edge, these homes are going to hold their value for resale value. But for quality of life, you want to live in Long Prairie down here. So there's lots of different choices. If you want a non-view lot, pick up something on sale in LaGrange, Oak Hollow, Enfield, if price matters, and you don't mind kissing LaGrange. Well, the good news, though, Sam, is that a lot of the homes in Oak Hollow have privacy walls, block walls, or concrete walls. So in Oak Hollow, that's really where they started putting a lot of those privacy walls behind them. Surely time frame to build. Also, if you look at the VLS, keep in mind anything offered with, yes, 9,500 is discounted. Thank you, Craig. That is true. Many of the interior lots in those areas Sam mentioned have, yes, cement walls in the rear. Eliminates, yes, absolutely. And that's what you want. If you're looking at a pre-built home, just go to the backyard, and if it has a concrete wall, concrete block wall, a block wall or a concrete wall, you should be okay. This spring, we toured those areas with Craig and Sam when we went there on Lifestyle, and the walls are everywhere down there. It would make it nice not having those kissing lanais. Yes, for sure. This spring, it's February, so spring is around the corner. You're looking March or April, you're looking 2 months. Yeah, do a lifestyle visit and then drive around. So the lifestyle visits, Shirley, if you're still here with us, keep in mind, you're looking at either a lot here or maybe in LaGrange here or Oak Hollow there. Your lifestyle visit homes are going to be located right here where this yellow dot is. At least I think that's where they still are, unless they move the lifestyle homes. But this is the Street of Dreams in Well Point. You're probably going to be staying in a lifestyle home right here in this area. And then all you got to do is get in your golf car and you drive from your neighborhood here and you just drive down Corbin Trail and you start looking at these homes in here in Oak Hollow. You are looking at these homes down here and the lots of land down in LaGrange. You're looking at homes over here in LaGrange. You might want to even go over here to Edenfield and look at a home. If you're looking at 2 months, if you're looking at starting to build a home in 2 months, I think you buy a lot right here. If you're looking at buying a home pre-owned or a pre-built home in 2 months, you might have more homes open in this area in LaGrange. You actually might have homes open here in Lakeview. But again, I'm not big on Lakeview. I'll be honest with you. I'm afraid of this green patch there. I'm not big on Lakeview. I think this is a better area. And if you have 6 months to wait, then Long Prairie. If you want quality of lifestyle, I think Long Prairie is going to offer you good quality of life. Here, you might get a little more noise from the town square if you live here, but your property values are going to be awesome here. You probably could turn around and sell your home for a lot more in a year from now if you bought here. South of Central Parkway, you are nowhere near the turnpike. The turnpike runs further east. Further south you go. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Yes, we have Thinking of LaGrange. What do you think of that area? LaGrange, I think, is good. I think this is the best area in LaGrange right here. And then this would be probably the second best area. If you're looking at designer homes, I assume you're looking at designer homes. I'd be looking at designer homes in this area, but I try to figure out where the pathways are, where people from Eatonville are going to be driving through LaGrange to get to the town square. I would try to stay off those main streets. So if they're coming in from Eatonville, they're coming down here. And then they're probably going to take this road here and then this road here down to the town square. So I would stay away from homes along this route right here, because you're going to have a lot of cars, a lot of golf cars driving through here from Eatonville to get to the town square. So if you want a retention pond view, you could be looking here. You might be looking here in LaGrange, or you're looking here. I still think I would build a designer home right in here. And if you don't like this area because it has too much Eastport music noise, in a year you turn around, you flip it, you make a boatload of money, and then you buy into Long Prairie. That would be a strategy you could employ. But I do like LaGrange. I think LaGrange is pretty good. And like I said many, many times before, I think living south of the town square is better than living north of the town square because of the turnpike. And that's why a lot of people think Long Prairie is going to be the crown jewel. But there's a lot of people that don't care about the turnpike. That's why these lots in LaGrange, I still think, are going to really hold their value. These homes are really going to be desirable for many, many, many years to come. So you have lots of choices. I do not dislike LaGrange. It may have some prison lights at night on where your lanai faces. That's a good point. I've never been there at night, so I cannot speak to prison lights. All I know is I've never heard a prison announcement, loudspeaker. I've never heard that. I do see occasionally when I'm driving around, I do see the light poles sticking up from behind the trees, but I'm there during the day. That actually makes everything that I say different. The lights at night. One day when I get back in March, I'm going to go down there at night and I'm going to see for myself what those prison lights are so I can give a better recommendation. Would buying pre-built at Oak Hollow be better area? Surely. Better than what? I think it's a fairly good area. And if you're looking at buying pre-owned in Oak Hollow, I'd be looking in probably this area here. I think these north-south streets are going to be fairly busy. You're going to have a lot of traffic on them, so I would be looking probably at an interior lot, maybe like this Kingfisher C. Open house tomorrow. Anytime you see an open house, I think the sales are slow. But so here you have a north-facing lanai. You might want to look at a south-facing lanai. Here you might look at this Mockingbird C with a south-facing lanai. I think this area in Oak Hollow is actually a pretty decent area because of it's central. It's close to Blanchard Rec Center. Right here is Blanchard Recreation. And then it's close to Woodlands Championship Golf Club. It's close to Eastport. It's closer to Magnolia Plaza, where your Publix grocery store is. Publix, it's going to be up here. That's where Magnolia is. So I think this area in Oak Hollow is pretty nice. And I would, if I'm buying in Oak Hollow, I would stay west of Corbin Trail. I would definitely stay east of this neighborhood or east of this golf course. So that puts you here. And if you're looking at a decent home, I still think this Dove C, these are discounted homes. Kingfisher C or a Dove C. It has a west-facing lanai. It is discounted for $49,500. It is in Well Point, a little bit north, but you will see that it has a concrete wall in the back as a privacy wall, and that's because it's adjacent to a veranda home neighborhood. So this is, I think this is a nice home. If you're looking at pre-built subway tiles, large walk-in shower, and it has a concrete wall in the back for privacy. And that wall extends the entire length of the neighborhood. Right there's your concrete wall. That's your privacy wall. And it's discounted. It's located a little bit further north than here. These are actually in Well Point, but you have two discounted homes here. I thought there was another one up in here somewhere. I thought there was another one. So there you have it. If you want discounted homes, these two. If you're looking at pre-built in Oak Hollow, I still think this is a pretty good neighborhood. If you're looking to build a home in the next month or two, this is probably the best. And 6 months down the road, if you want quality of life, Long Prairie, view sites, this is going to be awesome location. Depends on what you want. Oak Hollow, I would only buy east of the golf course. Yeah, I would agree with that. That prison is close to Oak Hollow West. The lights are a thing, really. I'm going to check those lights out. You're not the only person that told me about those lights. During the daytime, those lights are not ugly or obtrusive. You can't even tell they're there because they're kind of hidden behind the trees. But at nighttime, that could be an issue. Definitely do. Yeah, I would agree. Do a lifestyle visit. But then you're there during the day, during the night. You can hear and see everything. You will have numerous options. Yes. Yes, Shirley. Sorry I missed a bit. No worries, Sam. I think Lakeview is also going to have high resale. It probably will. I think it will. But for me, I am still nervous about this water treatment. I'm still nervous about that. And it could affect this area too, for that matter. But I would want to go down there a few times and look and smell to see if there's anything I can see or smell. I agree. I think this is going to hold its resale. But a lot of that will depend on this green patch. If this is this has no effect, then yes, I agree. But if this has any type of an issue, smell issue or maintenance issues or something, then maybe even this area would be affected by that. So lots of unknowns there. Oh, she's been there. What size plans do you, Shirley? Live entertainment on your lanai every night. Yeah, honestly, all of the best lots are sold in LaGrange, Oak Hollow, infield, unless you just happen to find one you love that's built. Yeah, probably. Prison lights are bright. Well, I'm going to go down there in March and see for myself. The lights at Eastport are brighter, really. I believe that. We were thinking possibly of a tall pine with added golf cart garage. Can you do that on a tall pine? That'd be nice. 23 prison lights seen. 23 prison lights seen easily. Wow. Wow. You definitely don't want a west-facing lanai then. If you're in Oak Hollow, you want to stay with an east-facing lanai, because if you're sitting on the lanai, you don't want prison lights in your eyes. So that would lead me to believe that. So here is the prison right off over here, actually. Right here where the yellow is, that's where the prison is. So if you're buying or building a home, these homes here are actually going to be very close to the prison. So if you're going to buy a lot, you're probably going to want to buy a lot with a east-facing lanai like this lot, so you don't get the prison lights. But then somebody's commenting that you might get the lights from the East Park Town Square, which is here. Interesting. Interesting. And then if you buy a home here with a north-facing lanai, again, the prison is going to be more closer down into here. So if you buy a home up here, you probably, with a north-facing lanai, you probably won't see much of the prison lights. That's a good point. Decisions. Concrete, yeah, tall pine concrete. Yeah, there are several tall pines. If you want tall pines, they got tall pines. Why is this? There we go. Let's go to tall pine. Tall pine. What is it? Tall pine, CMO. Let's see what the map has for Shirley. Let's find Shirley a house today. Tall Pine C. It does not have extended garage, but again, you're looking up here in Edenfield if you're looking for tall pine models. You got two of them right up here. You got this one, you got this one. They're a nice home. Lots of people like these homes, Shirley. Here you have wide open spaces on this one. Tall pine. Concrete walls. If I was buying a home in the south, this is probably the one I would buy, is a tall pine C. It's an efficient home. Don't need too much bigger than this. Very nice. I still don't know why they're putting the frames on the showers. They went away from it, and now they're starting to put them back in, the frames on the shower doors. I like the frameless. I guess they're less costly. So Shirley's worrying about the garage. Let's see. 20 feet deep is the garage by 18. Yeah, if you could bump the garage out, what I would do is I would Bring the garage out at least 1 more foot in the front and bump it out maybe 2 feet on the side, or maybe even put a golf cart garage in if you could. But you want to bring it out in the front a little bit further too. You want that to be at least 21 feet. 20 feet is just not enough. But you do have some tall pines available there, Shirley. You had one here that sold. That would have been the one to get. And I did a video on this one time. I like this location better in LaGrange. I'm not too wild about the locations up here in Edenfield. But I think they're going to release more homes here in LaGrange. I would be patient, Shirley. And when they would release another tall pine C, if it's acceptable to you, I would buy it down here. Or you can, I guess, build one with the bigger garage that you want. Lots of choices. No pool. Yeah, they don't have. I don't think you're going to see a tall pine with a golf cart garage. I have never seen one yet for sale. $8 and 23 lights depending on the lot. Wow. That's a game changer, Sam Propane. That's a game changer in terms of orientation of your lanai. You definitely don't want a west-facing lanai. You probably don't want a south-facing lanai, if that's the truth, because you're going to see the lights. You probably want the east-facing lanai, and in some cases, maybe a north-facing lanai to get away from the lights. Yeah, true. I agree with that, Sam. If you're looking at a tall pine with a golf cart garage, you can buy yourself probably a discounted designer home for that. 12 to 10K, really. If you build, surely you may ask them about stretching the garage and possibly the house too. Yeah, you can stretch them. Also pantry, yes. Yeah, that's another reason that it's pantry. Yeah. Yeah, the pantry. Everybody tells me about the pantry on the tall pine. They all love that pantry. That is true. Pantries sell homes. Even the pre-owned homes that I did home videos on. Everybody wanted a big pantry in that kitchen. Pantries sell homes, for sure. I think that's it. I've been on for an hour and a half. It's Super Bowl. Let me check the score of the Super Bowl, by the way. So there is the score of your Super Bowl. It looks like it's halftime, and it's 9-0 Seattle Seahawks at the halftime. So I'll let you watch the second half of the game. I'm going to get on with my duties here. And I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. We'll go live again next week about the same time. Wow. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching the videos. I appreciate it. Take care. I'll be back in the villages around March 20th or so. So LaGrange is bright. LaGrange has the lights. I can see that. I can see where LaGrange might not be. If you're sensitive to lights, which I am, maybe LaGrange isn't the place to be. Good point. Thank you, Sam Propane. She's looking to build or buy this spring. Sam's got his work cut out for him. All right, take care, everyone. Have a good day. I'm going to end the live stream. We'll see you next week.